Sweltering heat does not have to mean your plants have to die, get brown. We've got some help for you this morning. Derek Thomas with Thomas Landscapes is here. Good to see you, my friend.
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
And wearing the green, perfect.
Wearing the green, you know, you got.
I can just get some on my thumb there. All right, tell us what we need to know so that our plants don't die in heat like this.
Well, first of all, one of the most important things is make sure that you have planted your plants where they like. Plants have certain zones that they like. Plants like this hydrangea are going to do really, really well in the shade. Whereas if you need to pop it up a bit in the sun, using a plant like echinacea or even this tropical croton they will last all summer long in the sun, in the blazing sun.
So these are plants that really like it.
They really like it, but you know, if you put this hydrangea in full sun and it's wilting, and I've gotten some hits on the website with people asking me what's wrong with my hydrangea this week. Well, it's in the wrong position. So make sure that your plants are in the right position. Now, if they are, and they're a plant like this Dusty Miller is very drought tolerant. But if you just planted this plant recently, it hasn't established a root system. So what's going on with it is you're going to have to give it extra water that you normally wouldn't. And if the plant starts to droop like this one, don't hesitate to water the plant. A lot of people think they can't water their plants in the evening because of fungus and things like that. But if you've gone all day and haven't watered the plant, get some water on it at night.
Well, let's talk about when to water, because I think a lot of us have this concept that in really severe heat like we're experiencing today, you don't want to water the plant in the middle of the day because you're almost sizzling your lawns, your plants. You say at nighttime is okay.
Well, nighttime's okay, and in the middle of the day, if you have a plant like this plant will recover now. If you don't water it in the middle of the heat of today, because you think that it's going to do it harm, it's going to do it more harm because the plant will actually have cellular damage, and you don't want to damage the cells. This plant will bounce back. The other thing that you have to know when I say right plant, right place, these are both begonias. Now, if you go to the garden center, this is a Rieger begonia. This begonia likes shade. It will only do well in the shade. This begonia is an old-fashioned wax begonia. This will do well in sun or shade.
Fantastic.
As a matter of fact, it's very drought tolerant. So know the plant. Now, if you're going to be going away a lot and you don't have an irrigation system, I'm recommending to folks to go with plants like what you see over here, agaves, sedums, even some of your herbs, rosemary, mint, and even lavender will do really well in the drought.
But you would agree, Derek, that sometimes you have the plants you have. They're already planted, and these are obviously some great ideas. So what would you tell folks when they are heading out of town for vacation for a week? Can you overwater?
Perfect. No, you can't overwater, but what you can do is put an extra layer of mulch on that plant, because what that's going to do, it's going to help to retain the moisture. Another great trick that you can use, you can recycle the bags, put this bag around the plant like that.
So water it before
and then water it before, put the bag there, put a little bit of mulch on top of that, and then water that in. What that's going to do is that's going to retain the moisture for several days longer than it normally would.
So you know your neighbor's on vacation if they've got paper bags all over their plants. Let me ask you this. I actually heard there's a phenomenon where the barks of trees can scald, and I understand you can actually paint them, especially light-colored bark. Is that true?
Yeah, but you know what? Unless you're using, and I wouldn't use any paint on the bark. That's something we used to paint trees when we would cut them. I would not use any. And you see it a lot in the tropics where they'll paint the white paint around the bark. I would absolutely not do that, because the bark is where the tree breathes.
Okay.
And most of the times what will happen with your trees is if they get too hot, what they'll do is, like, even some of the trees that will really do it are like the crepe myrtles and also your American sycamores. They will shed their bark in order to get more oxygen.
Tell us one more time these plants that love the sun, just so people can hear it one more time. Hydrangeas, depending on where you plant them.
Hydrangeas, depending on where you plant them, can be very, very resilient to the heat. Crotons, echinacea, vinca, your begonias, your wax begonias are wonderful. This plant is Dusty Miller. Now, Dusty Miller, once established, will be very drought tolerant. You've got agaves, sedum, mint, lavender, and rosemary.
And you know what we just learned from Andre Wells in our last hour? You combine rosemary and mint and lemonade, and it's
wonderful.
Yeah, sounds good. My last thing, the hydrangeas happen to be my favorite here. I usually see them planted along homes and around the perimeter. I guess that's because it's going to get shade and the direct sun, so it's a good balance.
It's going to be a good balance for them, and also what's going to happen is you will get bluer hydrangeas if it's planted against the foundation because you're going to have more line.
Gotcha. All right, Derek Thomas with Thomas Landscapes. Thank you.
Thank
good
you.
advice. All right, Tony, let's throw it back.
The Fox 5 weather app. Look 10 days ahead or hour by hour. View today's video forecast and radar that can pinpoint your neighborhood free at your App Store or Android Market.